Alrighty, Tigercast fans. Now, for those who tuned into the live on Monday night, the one segment you'll realise that we didn't do is Come On Man, and we're going to show it a bit of love in its own video. We don't have a graphic worked out just yet because there's probably a few names we've got to add to it in retrospect as well over the last couple of weeks. But between EJ and Grok, there was a bit of a list that we thought was worth discussing in its own video. So with that said, it's now time for...
Oh, man.
There we go.
Oh.
I've got it, EJ. He's done it.
Round 23.
Yeah, only taken 4 months.
It's taken over half the second last week we got there.
Where do we start? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let's go for the one that came out yesterday and today. The inappropriate touching. So I think it was Archie Smith from Brisbane on Nick Blake. He gave him the old Hopawati one finger salute while he was on the ground. I find it absolutely hilarious that this was virtually swept under the rug. It literally only came out when John Ralph reported it. And the thing that really bugged me about it was the fact that they withheld the player names. But if you go through and look at photos from the match, it was clear to see what the incident actually was and who the players were. The reason that it annoys me as much as it is if you can cast your mind back to COVID, there was an incident or a couple of incidents actually with us about inappropriate touching with Nick Floston and Jaden Short on Mabior Chol. And everywhere you looked for the day and a half, after it was everywhere, groping, sexual assault, whatever they wanted to call it, whatever sensationalist headlines they were running with at the time. Despite Mabior Chol saying that he wasn't offended by it, didn't take any notice of it, they still crucified Vloston and Short. And I believe several even came out and said that Vloston should never be a captain of the club because of it. So, yeah, I think the fact that it was plastered all over media when we did it 5 years ago, and it's been swept under the rug this week. Yeah, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Vic bias. Yeah, this is real Vic bias.
To add to that, Grok, Richmond supporters have wonderful memories because the amount of people that started tagging Hugh Remington in all of the comments, because he, who was not a football journalist, came from the absolute heavens when the Vloston and Mabior trial one happened and actually inserted himself into a Damien Hardwick press conference to relentlessly grill him for about 8 minutes about it, and made a big hoo-ha and has never been seen in the footy scene world since. So the amount of Richmond people who were calling upon Hugh Remington to make another appearance, I did find quite amusing because he had no place to be in that discussion when the Vloston and Chol one happened, and he was never seen again and wasn't seen for this one.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Hughes was just disappointed that Rimming wasn't coming his way, I think. Anyway, too much. Right, I found out where it was. So I'm going to throw up from a couple of weeks ago something I'd noted down. We love South Australia. Hello to all our South Australian Tigers. The absolutely unbiased and completely fair and reasonable 5AA radio have the 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G, and former Carlton player Camporeale was one of the panelists on the show, and they were discussing the possible and impending return of Naz to South Australia. And with a completely straight face, after much going back and forth about the value of said players, it was suggested that, yeah, look, if we had to, we'd let Rochelle go for Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera. Like, come on, man.
Come on, man.
I mean, it's just like some sort of cheap-ass big footy trade rip-off because, I mean, I think big footy trades make more sense.
I mean,
I'd
give up Jack Ross for Bontempelli. Like, if you twist my arm.
Yeah.
If we had to. Gee, that's a good one.
Go again?
Yeah, go again.
Right. Now, I'm not saying that this is world-class, what do you call this? World-class podcasting. But I think I should have actually put a proprietary sort of a stamp on the Come On Man name.
Yes.
Because it came to my attention. Not only, look, we've been plagiarised a couple of times by different segments of the media over the year. And look, SEN, another great radio station, Fireball Monday and Fireball Friday with Kane and Kingy has its moments and can be quite entertaining, and the discussion is deliberately provocative and, fake outrage and all that sort of stuff. But last Friday, when Kingy didn't agree with something that Corn said, he let out a "Come on, man." And he didn't do it once. He didn't do it once. He did it multiple times. And it was done in that style. It was definitely done in that style. Now, I'm not saying that they catch up with this podcast, but I find it remarkable that it has happened. Kingy, I rate you. You're better than that. You're better than that. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
We'll have a Come On Man off in a second.
Oh,
wow. And you were saying before that you had people alert you to this as it happened as well. So the Tigercast family are well across this.
Yes, 100%. Like, I was listening and I was like, oh, did he just say that? And then bang, 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 I was getting messages. So that was quite amusing. Hello, Jones Racing. He's one of Kingy's biggest fans.
I've seen it today. Yep. No, exactly.
Look, it's for months. If you want entertainment, Jones Racing asking questions of David King on Twitter is A-grade stuff.
We should try and get Kingy on.
We should try and get Kingy on. I've actually been lucky enough to have a beer with Kingy at the Echuca races. He's a decent fella, good fella. He'd be a good chap, actually. Yeah.
And he was an assistant coach at Richmond, so I'm sure he'd have stories as well.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. I
think we'll do it because he was actually on, just to digress ever so slightly, he actually appeared on Kanga TV the other week, which was a really good chat from, I suppose, a North Melbourne perspective. So it seems like he's open to those kinds of things. So, yeah, Kingy, we might reach out to Kingy. We've reached out to John Ralph. So, Ralphie, if you're watching, reply to my tweet, please. Give us a follow so I can inbox you. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. We might do that. Any other Come On Man nominees from the last couple of weeks? All Grok, yep.
Yes. As per my tweet on Friday night, the Geelong Football Club, a.k.a. the Masters of the Late Change.
Oh, yes, this will be good.
At what point are the AFL going to step in and start fining or issuing some form of discipline to Geelong for naming players and then making them late outs? Now, I understand that players might get injured during the warm-up, and you need to change them. But Geelong named Jack Martin on the Thursday night and pulled him out as a late change on the Friday night as managed. Now, what in the world could have changed between naming him on the Thursday and dropping him on the Friday, managing him after the teams had already been submitted? That is absolutely horrific team selection. It's a smack in the face to the opposition. It's disrespectful. It's everything. Like, that Geelong, they do this almost on a weekly basis with the layouts, and at least they've managed to disguise it by saying, he's had hamstring awareness or whatever the shit excuse has been. But to drop a player as a late change and manage him after selecting him after he was perfectly fine to be selected on the Thursday, at what point are they going to start calling this behaviour out? Because it is absolutely horrific.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. 100%. Geelong, let's keep going.
Yeah,
let's
keep going.
Tee it off.
At the club, I'll tee off on the supporter. Here you go.
Right. So this was last week or the week before or whatever it was, and Geelong's Chris Scott vented his frustration towards the AFL media arm after broadcast his conversation with Bailey Smith at training, right? Bailey Smith was actually commenting on, he was a bit stiff, bit sore, or whatever. If they keep doing that stuff, we won't let them in, right? It was it was not twisted. It was reported as it was said, right? It's absolutely fair game, right? We've got to give the AFL media access to clubs and all that sort of stuff. And in that little press conference, he must have said, look, I don't really care, about 8-10 times. It gave you the shits. You really did care. And stop being so precious. The game's about more than you. Oh, man, I can't. My head is exploding. I'm just going to say, come on, man.
Come on, man.
I like that. That's fair enough.
I didn't know they were recording our conversations. Like, come on, you got journalists there observing. What do you think they are doing there?
Yeah,
honestly.
To tack onto the Geelong theme, I don't remember the name of the Twitter handle of the person because it really wasn't that important. But I had a Geelong supporter trying to mock Richmond and our lack of wins this year, which seemed a bit odd to start with. But then they proceeded to tell me that we've been rebuilding for 5 years and done nothing. I'm like, so 5 years, as in 2020 when Dusty made Danger look like a dickhead at the Gabba won a flag. You mean that 5 years ago? So that they're just struggling a little bit at the moment, with some basic comprehension skills. But I did find it quite amusing. I let it slide after a while because it wasn't worth the time. But yeah, just the fact that they thought we were rebuilding when we knocked them off in a flag, I'm not sure what that would say about them as a club.
Come on,
and
man.
It's not just that either, but it was 2022 when we had the dodgy Fark review with the Brisbane game with the Lynch shot as well. So we still made finals 2 years after they thought our thing started.
Is that the only umpire's call for a score where there's been no vision that's cleared it, that's been overturned?
Well, there's meant to be impeccable vision that we were all meant to be shown at some point in time that we still haven't seen.
Weren't they going to release the triangulation?
Yeah, Dimmer did the tour of the thing and was shown the vision, and he, I think he toed the party line and said there was, but you could tell that he didn't want to say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Just another quick little knock. The AFL. It's a national competition. You've got fans in every state and territory. Releasing the last round with 2.5 weeks to go is an absolute disgrace. Right. I actually think that if you're going to be stupid enough to have a pre-finals bye, which, don't get me started, is another subject, if you've got the pre-finals bye, it doesn't matter when on that other weekend that you play, right?
Mm.
So have a draw or a fixture, have a fixture with a modicum of integrity and release it when you release everything else. You don't need to move these matches around to manufacture shit. Just release the bloody draw.
Yeah. Well,
come on, man.
10 years ago, 15 years ago, they released the whole thing in one. You know exactly when you were playing. You had the printed out fixture cards that you could do your tips on and everything. Why did they, besides TV ratings and obviously the CBA with the networks, demanding, this game and that game, there's no reason to still have fans 3 weeks out from the final game of the season still not sure when that final game is going to be played, at what time. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just outline it at the start of the season, say this is what's happening, and go from there.
I'm pretty sure the Fans Association have the same outcry and argument every single year on Twitter, and not once have I ever seen any type of suggestion that people are in favour of this late fixture. So I can't understand it. Look, if they got to release it in 2 parts, as annoying as it is, if they release the full back end of the season by round 10, 11, 12, there's still enough time to plan, prepare, travel, book accommodation, shit like that. But not 2 weeks to go. You're right, EJ. If everyone's got the week off, there's no extra benefit there being applied to anybody.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, agree. Any other come on, man, for this one?
Probably a small one, and it's caused quite a stir from everyone's had an opinion on it, and it goes back to Geelong, but Mr. Patrick Dangerfield on the interchange bench. Now, this was a former head of the AFL Players Association and everything like that, but when your side's 100 points up at halftime and you're sitting on the bench eating a kebab, that's pretty disrespectful to the opposition. I mean, it's just a poor look, especially for the captain of the club too. It's like, oh my God, this is, all going great. I'm just going to go grab myself a kebab and sit there and scoff it on the interchange bench. It's just, again, a poor look. It was disrespectful. If you wanted to do that, go down to the change rooms and do it. Like, no one would begrudge him for eating it in the change rooms away from the public eye, but doing it on the interchange bench in front of everyone, I just thought it was poor optics.
It's shocking. Can you name another player that's been sitting on the bench scoffing takeaway food?
Relton Roberts at VFL level.
Did he? That doesn't surprise me.
I walked straight into that one, didn't I? Can you name anyone else?
No.
I'll tell you this. If he'd been subbed out and it was against Collingwood or Hawthorn or Richmond or whatever, he wouldn't have the balls. And that is why it's disrespectful.
Imagine the sooking of the Cats fans if Dusty, for example...
Suvalaki.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick Larkey, some of the Suvalaki. I like it.
Or even like 2020, let's say at halftime, Dusty's, doing his thing. He's just kicked that goal against, Harry or whoever it was, Jake Kolajasny or whatever, and then he's sitting there smashing down a pie on the interchange bench. Imagine how feral the Cats fans would have been about that being disrespectful. It's just a bad look.
Come on, man.
100% agree.
I like it. Well, was there any other ones, or are we finishing on that note? I think that's it. It's not a bad one.
Can we think of anything more Geelong to smack?
No, if we had a foresight of that, we could have dug a bit deeper, I reckon, and found some more.
We could have saved this for next week.
Well, yeah, true. I'm sure we can roll out again next Monday. We'll be right.
I'm sure there'll be another late change for Geelong this week that we can tee off again.
We'll keep an eye for that now. We'll have to keep an eye for the late change this week and see what happens. But there you go. There's a special segment dedicated to Come On Man because it was warranted. There was plenty to get through. We felt that it deserved its own love. So well done to Grock and EJ for bringing all those to the table. Let's keep an eye on the Geelong late change for this week, and we can then readdress it next week on Monday, which I'm sure will have a lot of people piling in on the Monday night show, which will be fantastic. But thank you again, gents, and until next time.
Come on, man.